Hello everyone. In this ASMR session, I'm going to tell you the story of Lazarus. His goal was to reach the final boss either in the basement and, of course, kill it. And since he decided to do it in hard mode, he started his journey with extra items like the parasite, the spoon bender, and rubber cement. A bit cheeky of him, I know, but whatever. The first room proved to be already tricky, with a Malibu chasing poor Lazarus and exploding in front of him. Still, he managed to survive. To his surprise, one of the explosions revealed a secret room, and he even got a trinket, the monkey paw, that would grant him a black heart when his life would go down to half heart. He then moved on to another room filled with gapers, swamp spiders and sacks, spawning even more spiders. Why it had to be spiders, he thought, whilst killing everything in sight. Lazarus now was looking for the treasure room to get another upgrade. And he found it very easily, but he had to kill more gapers and spiders first. He also got another trinket, the wigworm, and he immediately picked it up, leaving the paw behind. The increased shot speed it granted was too good to pass on. The treasure room revealed the needle, a useful power-up. When hit, Lazarus would release 10 tears and get additional fire rate up. Considering how prone he was to get hit, it was a no-brainer decision. He then moved on to find the boss room. He backtracked a bit and found again gapers and sacks, and then some more mollyboom. He also tested a new item as he received one hit. Luckily, the last room before the boss was just full of poo. He then remembered he had a pill and wanted to check what it was. Unfortunately, it was a telepill, and he was teleported into a curse room. There was a moment of hesitation on what to do, but then Lazarus decided to leave. Unfortunately, that meant getting hit by the door spikes. "Damn pill," he shouted. So he headed back to the boss room with just 1 heart and a half. Not much, but it might have been just enough to survive the fight. Luckily, the boss was just pinned, and in fact Lazarus killed it very easily. The reward was a blue heart and the experimental treatment. 4 stats went up and 2 went down. Lazarus jumped down the trapdoor and found himself in a burning basement. His reflexes were immediately tested when he had to find the only safe spot in an exploding room. After that near-death experience, the following rooms were much easier, with just static monsters called hordes. He was therefore able to regain half heart and also an extra key. Keys are quite essential in each run, so he was pleased. The room before the boss proved to be an easy one as well, with simple flies, orcs and skinnies. One of them dropped the card called the Stars, so Lazarus immediately used it to be teleported to the treasure room. The item waiting for him was a heart that would not only add 1 extra red heart, but also heal him full life. That's what I needed, he thought. At this point, there was nothing left to do but go back to the boss, not before having killed some mulligoons and spiders, all spawning dangerous bombs upon death. The boss turned out to be Gemini, a bit annoying but nothing to worry about. At the end of the fight, Lazarus got breakfast, so more health up. And out of nowhere, a devil room appeared. Lazarus was tempted by the devil, and he used the recently gained extra heart to acquire Guppy's paw, hoping for a Guppy transformation later. Lazarus was now feeling hopeful. The caves proved to be a bit more difficult to go through though. Initially the rooms were easy, almost empty, with simple monsters to kill like poo and maggots. He got some extra keys and everything seemed simple. But that changed very quickly. All of a sudden Lazarus had to face lust, one of the 7 sins. He was able to kill it, but it was a shock for him. Luckily, the reward was a good pill that increased the range of his shots. At this point Lazarus had some money put away, so he thought he could go to the shop to buy something. Unfortunately, there was nothing there worth his money, so he just bought 1 key. Really disappointing for him. He then moved on to find a treasure room. But the direction he took brought him to the boss instead. He so hated when he got to the boss room before the treasure room. So he had to backtrack. He went through rooms filled with hosts, clots and maggots. Unfortunately, they hit him twice, and he lost his precious blue heart. The item in the treasure room was puzzling for Lazarus. He could gain flight on use, but it would get separated from his body. That seemed confusing for him, so he decided to leave it there. He left the room wondering though if it was the right decision or not. Only by the end of his journey he may find out. The floor boss was Chubb, a big maggot with its little minions. Lazarus dispatched of it very quickly, but he got hit in the process. Luckily, a red heart dropped, so he went back to full health immediately, and then he moved on. Now Lazarus was halfway through his journey. The last floor made him feel vulnerable, and the start of this new floor was even worse. What seemed a simple room caused him to lose half of his total life. Now Lazarus was nervous. One bad move and it could mean the end of his adventure. He managed to kill easily the butt lickers, and luckily the following room was just poo. He was now looking for extra hearts of any kind. And indeed, in a room filled with gurgle and walking guts, he managed to find half red heart. A moment of respite, he thought, but that was short-lived. In the next room he had to face Sloth, another of the 7 sins. Very carefully, avoiding his explosive shots, he killed it without taking any damage. The reward was a devil card, a quite useful temporary boost of damage, if he actually remembered to use it. Now the destination was a treasure room. He decided to backtrack, and whilst going through one of the previous rooms, Lazarus noticed a strange rock formation. He then decided to use his only bomb to destroy it. The rock revealed a blue heart. What a relief for him. Lazarus felt lucky. But that turned out to be a fleeting sensation. Some chest rewards ended up on the spikes, so unreachable for him. And in the following room he lost half blue heart. Still shaken by this turn of events, Lazarus noticed a vault room. If anything, he had many keys, so he used to open the door and see what was inside. A chest filled with coins and 2 half hearts. Luck was mine again on him. Lazarus was known for making weird decisions, so he decided to lose a full blue heart to gain a bomb. Then he used the bomb to collect the unreachable items on the spikes. Probably that wasn't necessary, but he felt really smart for thinking that. Finally, he reached the treasure room, and an interesting item was waiting for him. It would grant Lazarus immunity from damage coming from the spiders. He was so happy when he collected it. Now there was one last thing to do: find the shop. When he entered the shop, he was so ecstatic. The Bible was there. For 15 coins he could buy the item that could grant him the final victory. At this point only the floor boss remained. Nothing can stop me, he thought. The boss was Peep. It was somewhat dangerous with his floating eyes and pool of yellow liquid, but Lazarus managed to kill it nonetheless. The reward was also quite good too. The old bandage would add 1 extra heart and had the chance to drop 1 heart if Lazarus got hit. Happy and healed, Lazarus moved on. Lazarus now was in the necropolis. The deeper he was going into the basement, the more dangerous the monsters were becoming, as well as just weird. He had to fight masks that could only be harmed by hitting the bleeding hearts they were defending, or huge maggots that were coughing even more maggots. This is the stuff that nightmares are made of, he thought. Still, he continued, and his perseverance was rewarded with 1 extra blue heart. How long will it last, he wondered. Soon after, he got his answer. He lost half blue heart to a nasty mini-boss. Such is life, he sighed. The treasure room was his destination now. He went the wrong way, but not in vain. He found where the shop was and the boss room too. But most importantly, he picked up a pill that gave him 2 more blue hearts. His confidence grew all of a sudden. Searching for the treasure room, he found a strange empty room with just some weird red poo and a chest. Having enough keys, he decided to open the chest. Valuable coins came out of it. Now he could go also to the shop and buy some useful items. His journey to the treasure room was not a clean one, but at this point it was expected. Along the way, he also found a new trinket, a broken syringe, that would grant him a 25% chance to get a random change of his stats every time he entered a room. He decided to try it, not knowing what exactly could happen. Finally, he reached his destination. This time the reward was beyond Lazarus' expectations. The stigmata. 1 extra red heart, healed 1 heart, and more damage. Now we're talking, he thought. It was time to go back and face the floor boss. But first a stop to the shop was due. And since it was along the way, he decided to get the whip worn back. Better have extra speed shot rather than a random effect that could even be a negative one, he thought. The shop was a bit bare, but the item on discount caught Lazarus' attention. Not super useful, but useful nonetheless, and it would give him 2 out of 3 items for the spider baby transformation. Having enough money, he bought all items. Now the boss, Mask of Infamy. This boss was particularly aggressive, but thanks to his recent upgrades, Lazarus killed it quite easily. The reward was also a nice surprise, a torn photo, more damage and increased shot speed. Before leaving the floor, Lazarus had the chance to get another devil's deal, and he did not hesitate to take it. He was descending deeper and deeper into the darkness of his soul. Lazarus now was on Mom's floor. He was fully aware that he possessed the 1 item that could kill her immediately, the Bible, but he had to stay alive long enough to reach her first. Easier said than done, he said out loud to the voices in his head. He had a good start of the floor though. A couple of easy rooms and then gluttony, another of the 7 sins. It was a dangerous fight, but now Lazarus had the DPS to kill it quickly. The reward was 2 beautiful blue hearts. As with each floor, he was now looking for the treasure room. Strangely enough, the monsters now seemed easy to kill. So he quickly moved from one room to the other, killing poo and strange screeching flying monsters. In one room he noticed a locked chest. Since he had enough keys, he decided to open it. He was glad of that decision. He found Midnight Snack that would give him 1 extra heart and heal 1 heart as well. Now he had to backtrack to find the treasure room. Lazarus, being clumsy as he is, he managed to lose 1 blue heart and a half from 2 simple avoidable shots. But he still had plenty, so he was not too bothered. The treasure room contained Bob's brain. It was a dangerous item. It would explode by hitting a monster, but the explosion could hurt Lazarus too. After some pondering, our hero decided to risk it and picked it up. Now he could go and face Mom. Along the way, he stopped at the shop, but there was nothing interesting, so he simply donated some coins. On his way to the boss room, he managed to lose the remaining blue heart due to some nasty spikes. That annoyed him, but at this point nothing mattered. He entered Mom's room. His heart was pounding, but with no hesitation he grabbed the Bible and used it. In a flash, she was gone, defeated. Lazarus let out a big sigh of relief. The reward was also very good. Supper that added 1 more red heart. Lazarus was about to leave, but noticed an opening in the wall. He stepped in to check what it was, and there, at the center of the room, he saw 4 items. All of them useful, but the red pepper caught his eye. 8% chance to shoot fire. Why not? He thought. So he grabbed it. But as soon as he did, hell broke loose. 1 boss after the other appeared out of nowhere. Loki, the Bloat, Uriel, Gish, Monstro, and more, all bent to kill our hero. He fought with all his might and drew from all his resources. As soon as the bubble was charged, he used it. That would grant him flight, so at least he could move around the room uninjured by obstacles. It was total confusion. The floor was covered with blood and creep, and fire too. The red pepper was doing its job and added extra damage. He was able to kill the bosses, but they kept coming. His hearts started to get dangerously low. Luckily, here and there some hearts appeared on the floor, so he picked them up. It was a fierce battle that lasted only a few minutes, but for Lazarus felt like hours. The final reward, though, was indeed something to cheer for. Sissy Longlegs, a friendly spider that spawned little spiders, but most importantly, gave Lazarus the spider baby transformation. Now, also Lazarus was spawning spiders. Happy and satisfied, he moved on to reach further depths. Now Lazarus had to kill Mom's heart, but first he needed to go through this floor that greeted him with a curse of the blind. All upgrade items were unknown to him until he picked them up. What annoying, he sighed. Having beaten the bosses of the Boss Rush challenge, he knew he had the DPS to reach the end, but he felt vulnerable to stray bullets, and indeed he almost died because of that. In all his journey, he was not lucky enough to get protective items. I will rely on my dodging skills, he thought, but 1 second later he broke out in a cold sweat. In any case, he managed to regain some hearts and found the same type of pill he used before that gave him 2 blue hearts. This time he did not get lost on the floor and he reached the floor boss immediately. Daddy Longlegs was waiting for him, a dangerous enemy. This boss coughed spiders, but thanks to his items, they were all friendly to Lazarus. The only thing for him to do was to avoid his stomps, and he did. The reward was a blue cap that added some health but reduced his shot speed. Another double room appeared, but this time Lazarus did not take anything. Now Lazarus had to kill Mom's heart. This was what he came for. Strong on his previous 4 successes, he knew he could do it. Also, he did still have the ultimate item, the Bible. It worked before, and he knew it would work again. The only thing was to reach the boss room as quickly as possible, losing as few hearts as possible, or ideally none of them. The floor started with a potential good trinket found in another vault room, the vibrant bulb. It increased all Lazarus' stats. Still, for reasons unknown to us, he decided to get the whipworm back. Was it because he felt it was bringing him luck? Or was it just a miscalculation due to now being so far down in the depths and so far away from reality that he could not think straight? We will never know. The rooms did not pose any real danger for Lazarus. He was careful enough to dodge the bullets when needed, and he did not take any risks. Now it was boss time. And like with Mom, as soon as he entered the room, he used the Bible, and he was gone. The heart was defeated. This victory granted him 2 unlocks, and a devil room appeared once more. As always, the items were too tempting, and he picked up Little Brimstone, another familiar that shoots a beam like Azazel. Still, the run was not over. To his surprise, he could continue. Heaven or hell? Lazarus decided to ascend and face his own worst enemy, Isaac. The cathedral was a treacherous place. Plus, this time the Bible was useless. Every room was inhabited by creepy monsters and mini-bosses. Lazarus knew he had very little defenses, or rather, none. So his strategy was to kill everything as quickly as possible. He managed to find 2 extra blue hearts, but they did not last long. Room after room, he was getting more and more nervous. He was hoping to find more blue hearts to replace the ones he lost, but as a perverse joke, he could only get coins and keys, now both totally useless. Some rooms turned out to be bullet hells, and the lack of defenses was now evident. The red hearts started to disappear, one by one. Now he had to face Isaac with just 3 red hearts. Initially Lazarus was able to dodge some bullets, but then he panicked, and that's when it happened. He lost his last heart and died. Being Lazarus though, he was resurrected immediately with just 1 full heart. No mistakes allowed now. With perfect dodging, he hit Isaac without receiving any more damage, and so he won. The enemy was defeated. I hope you've enjoyed this adventure, and that this ASMR session was useful for you. So if you liked the video, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment. And I hope I can see you again for another session with Isaac or any of the other games that I play. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.